So, my name is Henrik Zimmermann. Very warm welcome to today's session. Manage your RISE with SAP implementation project using SAP Cloud ALM in a clean core mindset. So we've already seen some overview and strategic presentations. And topic of this presentation is to already show you what's possible to track in a clean core mindset today. So quite practical, not too strategic. And so I structured this session in two parts. First part is what are the prerequisites I need to do to manage my project in this clean core mindset. And the second part is then how I practically execute those tasks in the project runtime. So coming to the prerequisites. So not to underestimate are the roadmaps. So in previous times, I must admit, I didn't care too much about the activity content because I thought, okay, experienced project managers, they have the experience with how to deal with project management, and for the newbies, they were just too massive. But nowadays, this topic is much more relevant. Why? Because now we are in a much more standardized setting. So we work with standardized cloud solutions, and therefore we can predefine much more. And in fact, those roadmap creation got a real boost. And so we especially created as well a roadmap for this RISE with SAP methodology, containing of 118 tasks. And this roadmap contains, on the one hand side, theoretical topics which educate you, help you to self-educate with this new topic, clean core. And on the other hand, practical tasks, how to really execute this in the project context. And what me all the time puzzled when I had a look at the roadmap viewer or when I looked into SAP Cloud ALM, then, no, I'm in the wrong mode again, sorry. I lost my display settings. They revert from time to time. No. Is the plug? Sorry. I need to plug off, plug in. Now it's back. Now it should work again. Let's stay 1 second. No, wrong mode. I fear that I won't see the demo now. Next slide. Reverts automatically. So hopefully this works now. Excellent, for now it works. Sorry for that. So what me always puzzles when I check in the roadmap viewer, that you don't find the same roadmaps as you find them in SAP Cloud ALM. So in roadmap viewer, we only get the SAP Activate methodology for RISE with SAP HANA Cloud Private Edition roadmap. But if you look in SAP Cloud ALM, you find 3 roadmaps. Why that? Because here in the roadmap viewer, you see we have this overall big methodology, one roadmap for everything, but you have the possibility to switch on tags. And these tags are a specific filtering then on the roadmap for the purpose of system conversion and so on. And so with a subset of the overall roadmap tasks, and if you go then in SAP Cloud ALM in projects and setup and create a project and check in the general information tab the SAP Activate roadmap there, then you exactly see those 3 types of roadmaps which are the chosen tagging in the roadmap viewer. So we already, in SAP Cloud ALM, we already tailored those roadmaps exactly to your needs so that you can directly consume them, and we spare you this additional filtering, having this overall roadmap and then selecting the relevant tasks. So much more convenient and a good example from my point of view how we make life easier for the end users. So less expert knowledge needed, but this is only a side topic. So coming back, so part of this content of the roadmap are the quality gates. Quality gates sound simple, not a big topic in the past, but we spent a lot of effort in those quality gates because they are a real, I would say not game changer, but really important to run your, or to get guidance for your clean core activities. And those quality gates, you see the importance of those quality gates because we already spent them a specific tile in the launchpad, in the SAP Cloud ALM launchpad. So previously you needed to navigate via the project setup and find it there, but now we have a specific tile so you can directly execute your quality gates from the launchpad. So, and within those quality gates, you find a lot of checklists fitting to exactly the specific project phases. So you have 4 to 5 predefined quality gates for the prefer, explore, realize, and run phase. And they are specifically tailored to the situation of a new implementation, greenfield implementation project, or to a system conversion project. And you see it's not generic checks. Of course, there are some overlaps, but there are different types of checks for the different project situation. So the colleagues quite spent some effort in defining those quality checks there. And the execution of those quality gates is super simple. So we have a predefined tab, which is called checklists when you open the quality gate, and then you find a list of this mentioned, in this example, 38 checklist items, and you have predefined answers. So you only need to enter your customer number and 3-4 customer-specific details, and the rest of the checklist is just choose the correct answer and set the status to done. So that's it. And in the end, if you maintained everything, you can set the QGate status to green so that you have directly in the project overview the QGate status visible. Of course, it is as well possible to create your own quality gates, because for some partners, as we've seen in the keynote yesterday from Swisscom, they prepare their own QGate checklists to be uploaded, and therefore it might make sense if you create your own quality gates and enrich the predefined ones for your specific project situation. Okay, so to see how those quality gates are maintained in real life, we have a look here in the Launchpad. You see we go to the implementation, choose the tile project and setup, create project, in this case New Implementation and choose the Activate Roadmap RISE with SAP for implementation. And you see, initially, there's no quality gate raised. Why? Because firstly, we go to the quick navigation on the left-hand side, and we choose which of the predefined quality gates are relevant for us. New implementation, we don't need the system conversion quality gates, so we just tag them and set the status to not relevant. And automatically then those system conversion quality gates are no more visible. I only keep here the new implementation quality gate checks. And you see this here are the manually to be edited for checklist items in the beginning. And then scrolling a little bit further down, you see the predefined answers. Just choose them, set the check item status to accepted or not relevant or not done. And in the end, you set the overall QGate status accordingly to your status, how far you managed now the QGate. In this case, I chose conditionally accepted because potentially the one or other activity still needs to be done. And that's it. So from my point of view, it couldn't be easier to make checklists. Previously, it was necessary to define all those checks by your own or upload down and upload them from the roadmap. And now, since a few weeks, it's possible just to deselect those which are not relevant for you. Everything is predefined. If you choose the corresponding one, or let's say one of those 3 relevant RISE roadmaps. Super convenient and super simple. Okay. No. So now the question is how to set up the projects. Now we've seen the predefined content, and now the question is for which type of project, how many projects do I need to create? So what's my starting point in the project? And I have 3 typical use cases: the implementation project, system conversion, or consolidation project. And so the behavior is a little bit different from project type to project type. So let's start with the implementation project. So in case of an implementation project, of course, I choose the appropriate roadmap, RISE with S/4HANA Cloud Private Edition for implementation. And now the typical use case is for greenfield approach that I have one standalone project. And in that case, I just keep the clean core quality gates as we've seen in the previous demo. Second use case would be that I have a system conversion. System conversion could be now a standalone project, or it could be a predecessor project for a new implementation. But as well in this case, I would recommend to create a standalone project for the system conversion topics and keep as well only the quality gates for the system conversion. Third setup would be then to have a consolidation project. Could be, again, a standalone consolidation project, but more typical is that I have a consolidation beforehand, a new implementation, or for beforehand a system conversion. And as well, in this case, I would recommend create and own a separate consolidation project, and now choose here the RISE with SAP methodology Clean Core Success Plan, so that you have only those activities in this project which you execute to clean up your data before you start then with system conversion topics and the new implementation topic. So in this case, you could have not one predecessor, one successor project, but this project here could be one predecessor for many successor projects. For instance, if you have company rollout with in different timely sequences. So then you could centrally coordinate all your cleanup and clean core activities with the help of this project. Okay, so let's come to that part, how to rate project entities as clean or not clean. So now we are coming to the practical part. But here as well, I need to, sorry for that. So, to the practical part. And here as well, we have some prerequisites to do, but super few. So the only thing what we need to do, and I think it can't be simpler, is to create tag groups and tags, just to tag the related project entities or the most relevant project entities as clean or not clean. And which are those main project entities? These are the processes, the requirements, the user stories, and the features. So those project entities which allow the project management the overview, the processes, which allow the experts the planning, so the requirements and the user stories, and the consultants and developers the building, so the features. And exactly those entities I want to track to tag as clean or not clean. And tagging is not enough. I need to now as well switch on this information that it is visible in the respective traceability analytics parts, dashboards. So in the process traceability, requirements traceability, user story, and feature traceability, I need to switch on these tags in the column settings so that the appropriate tag information is visible. And this is as well relevant for the pop-ups, which we will see in the next slides. And done that with these two simple activities, I've already done my project preparation. And now, for instance, a project responsible can see in the solution process traceabilities if his processes are tagged clean or not clean. So, of course, he gives this tagging to the processes. It's not automatically populated, but I have to manually assign those tags. And what we established now is that if we click on the related project, detailed project entities, so the requirements, user stories, and features, then a pop-up comes up, and in this pop-up I can see the appropriate tagging as well. So to show the first use case, so me as a project manager, I'd like to check if a clean rated process is really correctly tagged. So I just need to filter for the clean processes, because they're not clean, I already have inside. And so I filter them, the processes with the tag clean, so I get only displayed the clean processes. And then I can click on here on the requirements, for instance, or on the user story, or on the feature bar, and directly navigate to the, or get a pop-up displayed where I can directly check if all related entities are rated clean as well. And then if I see one which is not clean, then I can further drill down, get the responsible team member, talk with him if the tagging is correct, and then if not, then I need to change here the process tagging as well. And second use case would be now if I'm a functional expert, for instance, formulating the requirements, then of course I'm not working in the project process overview, but I'm working in the requirements overview. And here I have the same functionality. I click, for instance, on all requirements in my responsibility and check them one by one if the tagging of my requirements is correct, or I click on the assigned user stories and check them if the appropriate architect rated the assigned user stories correctly as well. The third use case is a little bit different. This is now the bottom-up check, not the planning perspective, top-down, but the bottom-up check from the consultant developer view, because I can plan many things, but very often it's realized in a different way. And so if the developer then is doing some, has for instance assigned a workbench transport and not customizing, so he really changed something in the system and produced custom code which was not clean, then he can do as well a bottom-up check and check from the traceability feature, from the feature traceability, the assigned requirements. Just click on that. Requirement is opening. He can see if it's clean or not clean rated, and same is for the user stories. So that would be, so we have both ways to check if the tagging and rating of clean and not clean is correct. Top-down approaches from project manager or from expert side, and bottom-up attempt from developer and consultant side. And you see, it's not rocket science. It's super simple with super simple methods. And I think this is exactly the way how it should be. And this is the big difference between SAP Cloud ALM and Solution Manager. So this functionality can use every end user without training. No hidden functionality, no hidden logic. It's super simple, just by tagging and straight navigation via reporting. And this from all view angles, with no project customizing or anything needed. And Solution Manager was much more complicated. Firstly, you needed to do either to do project customizing by your own, or you needed, like in Focus Build, understand the complex project methodology in behind, which needed a lot of training. And this is totally different world. Sorry, I always click escape. And therefore, oh no, it removed. It stays. Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry for that. So now let's have a look how this is looking in the system. So you really see that it's not only PowerPoint, but now we have a real-time experience how this really, real-time experience how this behaves in the system. So firstly, how to maintain the tags. So you see we have here in the area where we maintain the tags. I already predefined here those 4 types of tags. So the only thing what we do is we create tag groups and the tags by themselves. Only 4 tag groups and the 2 types tags, clean, not clean. Super simple to maintain, but even that we make more easy and want to include that as a task in the new roadmap, which will Matthias show on Friday, and so that it's even more easy. And to make those to make those tags visible, not only in process traceability, but as well in requirements, feature, and user story traceability dashboards, we need to switch on the tags here in the column settings. As well, super simple activity. Just switch it on here by this little icon. Choose tags, say OK. And what I would recommend is to create then your personal or public view so that you don't need to switch them on all the time, but create your personal or public view and set it as default and save. And then each time you navigate in those traceabilities, the tags are already switched on, even if you navigate from the pop-ups. And with that, you see then here the tags already in those pop-ups. Otherwise, you have only the text of requirement, user story, and feature. And this allows then the further navigation and check the details if the project entities are rated correctly or not. Second example here now, this drill down from requirements level. Same procedure. You see I have the tagging here on the left-hand side. I get the pop-up with the information which documents are affected, and just with straightforward navigation, then I can check the details. In this case, if a customizing of a REST API is executed correctly and built correctly, and as our APIs are clean, so the rating of clean core is correct. And this is another functionality which we recently improved. So from the feature traceability, we can directly, clicking on the feature, we are not jumping into the feature traceability where we need to, or in the details view of the feature, where we need to select the appropriate feature, but we directly jump in the detailed information of the feature and see which type of transport is assigned. I'm coming to the benefit of this a little bit later. And and here in the feature traceability, as mentioned before, the behavior is a little bit different. So if I have here, for instance, a feature rated as not clean, then I need to click here on the requirement link. So we have not bars for the requirement, but only a link. And here then I can check, in this case I have a user story which is rated clean, but my feature is not clean, so I just change contact, either responsible for the user story, or I change the tagging by myself. And same I can do for the process rating and so on. I spare this now. Okay, coming back to the demo. So you see, handling of this tagging is super simple, no expert knowledge needed. And what we planned as new functionalities, which is already realized, is now that we have this feature bar as well visible in the process overview. So in the solution process traceability, we now have as well a feature bar, so we can directly check the feature status from there. Already realized last week. Then, as already mentioned, we can now directly navigate from this pop-up from the header information directly in the detail screen from the feature where we can check which type of transport it is, because if the transport is from type customizing, then it's typically uncritical. If it's type development, then I should have a closer look. So I can directly have an indicator if the rating clean is not so good, if a workbench request from type, if a workbench transport is assigned. Already realized and shipped last week as well. So no lab preview needed. And with what is as well shipped last week to a big extent is, you see now what we've seen now is quite manual effort. But of course, we don't, as a project lead, don't want to click on each of those 20, 30, 40 entities which are related to my process one by one, but I want to see them in an overview. And of course, we have in the solution process traceability, we have an Excel download. And up to now, there was only one tag mentioned, that one for the process itself. And now we enriched this download as well with information for the tags for the processes, requirements, user stories, and features. And hopefully in future we get as well the transport ID and transport type included in that, so that you have everything in one sheet to be checked, tick, 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 tick. So we already have covered the manual one-by-one checks, top-down, bottom-up, Excel overview, and now the next sequence in the evolution, and this is what you've seen in the previous session, would then be, of course, an automated dashboard. And this download information, which we got now last week, is, of course, basis to create this predefined clean core dashboard. Because if we have everything in the download, it's easy to create now the graphics on top. And so I'm quite confident that we get first version of this dashboard quite soon. Jörg already told that it's planned for next week. And you see, we rate this as very critical and important topic. So you see, from getting the idea what could be improved for those first entities, which I just shown, this was 6-7 weeks ago. So 6-7 weeks ago, we said, okay, we need to improve here the navigation, we need to improve the Excel download, and within 6-7 weeks, we got the solution already. And here, same is for the Clean Core dashboard. We already have new hires, a new team member, and which is only working now on the development and coordinating of those Clean Core dashboard topics. So very important topic for us. And then, of course, last step in the evolution would be not only to have this predefined dashboard, but to as well offer this for now open up for partners and customers which want to do their customer-specific reporting. So to have an individually tailored but automated Clean Core reporting. For this, we still need to invest some work, for instance, to offer to bring this feature API, which is as well planned for end of this, beginning next year. And but you see, we have already a lot information, so potentially you could start already right now with creating your own dashboards. Okay. So as a summary, we can say to make your or to work today in an efficient way with the Clean Core entities, not much is needed. We have the very detailed roadmaps with the queue gates with a lot of detailed predefined checks, but you can upload your own checks or partner created checks as well. We have the rating and reporting capabilities, top-down, bottom-up, Excel download, and dashboards planned. And in fact, those dashboards is the only thing what is, from my perspective, left. But we are always happy to get your feedback if you find the one or other clicks we can improve. We really were working on every click to make it for the end user as simple as possible. And if you find an area where you say, okay, here the navigation is still too complicated, just contact us and we will very quickly deliver a solution. And finally, just to make you aware of, I already uploaded this presentation in my work zone where I offer you a lot of detailed best practice material. So I will continue to improve this presentation when new functionalities are coming and keep this up to date. And there are as well other best practices. So explaining you how to run the complete private edition project end to end, from showing architectonical slides in the beginning up to step-to-step procedure as we have seen it here now in this presentation. More than 300 slides for each type of implementation project, not only private edition, but as well public edition or Ariba implementation, because all those projects differ. So think about the deployment possibilities. Private edition, you have much more complicated dual landscape setup, for instance, like in the public edition context where you deal with CPC configuration, or in Ariba where you have only 2 systems, test production systems. So project setup differs, and therefore everything is in very much detail described in those best practices. And you find it on the SAP Cloud ALM expert homepage. You have free access to this homepage, of course, from the central homepage on, and you not only get a PDF, but as well a PowerPoint version of that. Just there's an email stated, just drop an email and you get the PowerPoints and can use it for your own training purposes as well. So thank you very much for your attention. Hope you do a session rating afterwards. Forgive me this bad navigation in between with the screens. And thank you very much for your attention. And open for questions. Esteban.
Hello. All this procedure relies on the use of tags all the time, and you depends on the people filling the right tag in the right element.
Correct. Correct.
Is there any thinking about a consistency check of tags if you have going up like from the requirements to the process?
In fact, there is. So that would be another iteration, consistency checks, and it's not only in this area. Of course, this is a topic for the complete cloud ALM, to have consistency checks between user stories, requirements, and as well status flows and so on. It's a big, big topic, and this is what, if you remember something from the keynote session yesterday, there was in the planning, when you remember second stage of the moon rocket, then there was this it was named constraints. So constraints handling is a big topic, and of course there very much needs to be done there. But it's, of course, it's as well always tricky, because you see you have those many variants in handling SAP Cloud ALM. Some work with requirements, some without, some work in this and the other way. So we as well always need to think about the best practice.
Okay. You mentioned artificial intelligence with the prompt.
Yeah. First attempt will be, of course, that we have some predefined end-to-end solutions, but look in the far future, then of course some kind of customizing will be needed here as well. Yeah, Ingo.
Yeah, Henrik, first of all, I want to express gratitude to all your work you put into this best practice.
Thanks.
Compilation and publication. It's really, really helpful. And I hope that SAP will invest in this work, continuing doing this, even if the solution gets bigger and more complex and you get more variations of using it. But I think the community really appreciates this input. Yeah? But then I also have a very detailed question. Maybe we could take that individually, but maybe it's good for the audience as well. Why did you choose to put clean and not clean as a tag group per entity? In this example, why don't you use one tag group where you have clean core and you have then clean or non-clean?
Could do as well.
Okay, so there's no reasoning from your, let's say, understanding of the concepts of using Cloud ALM that would be beneficial to either or.
Yeah. So in fact, in this example on the slides, for processes and requirements, I chose an own tag group, and for user stories and features, I had a combined one to show both possibilities. But you're quite flexible, and potentially we need some feedback from you when we offer these predefined tag groups. What would be, from your experience, the most feasible and best way to consume?
Hi, I'm curious about how is this clean core validation performed? And is it done before the development, or is it after it's already in place?
It's a continuous process. It's starting from the planning, formulating the requirements, or even before starting the project, you have a lot of clean core activities which you need to plan and organize, and this is part of the roadmap. And then if you really start the project, then It's as well a continuous activity in the planning phase. You need to train your project members to rate their entities correctly, make them aware, okay, what are the criteria of taking something clean or not clean. But then in the end, of course, with the help of the reporting, you need to control as a project manager, or if you have assistance from a partner, if the tagging is correct. And in the end, as well, the responsible consultant and developer needs to rate in the end what he builds. So the feature is as well a planning entity for the developers. So a container, and when he did his work and finishes the feature, then he again needs to check, was my original assumption and rating correct, or do I need to adjust? And in case he needs to adjust, then of course he needs to inform his project manager, because before he goes productive, this might have a cost impact. And this is the purpose of this all clean and not clean. It's to having a control of effort and costs later on. And potentially, if it comes out in development that the development is not clean, potentially it's not going productive.
Okay, thank you.
So one final question.
One question, as Calm is integrated with Jira, and when I'm working in Jira and making my tasks and all these things, I have my functionality, and it is, I define the clean core definition only in Cloud ALM, and if it's not clean core, it will define a task that is realized in Jira and comes back, and then I decide if it's clean core. Or how does this work?
It's a question how you set up the integration. What's the leading entity? If the Jira is the initial entity where you formulate your requirements and populate then SAP Cloud ALM with, and execute the project from there later on. That is what, from my perspective, makes most sense in that case, because it's always good to have clear guidance where is the initial entity and where you do the project execution. Same with solution processes and so on. It's not mixed too many. Okay.
Okay,
then
thank you.
Thank you very much. And have a nice lunch.